welcomes the remarkable voice of Jessica Lynn as she brings the heartland with a little rock and roll.
Yo, welcome to Coastal Connection. Hey, we got Jessica Lynn and Mike G.
Welcome.
Oh, Mike, I had to get my little swirl on, man, because I was all into it. Because, Jessica's hail from New York, and we'll find out whether she's a Giants fan or the other fan, the Jets, or we'll find out if she's a Dodgers fan no, excuse me, not the Brooklyn Dodgers. My bad, I was history there. Going back to the Boston Red Sox or a Yankees fan. But before we get started, Jessica, we want to say, hey, thanks for coming on Coastal Connection with me and Mike G. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. That was it. So
you're asking the wrong person about sports. So go ahead, say whatever you want. I have no idea.
I'm loving it. All right. So so help me out here because you do a little bit of rock and roll. So I definitely gonna need to know what your rock and roll influences are. But how did you, being a girl from Brooklyn, get into country music? Because I'm from Louisiana, so I gotta understand how I can listen to a little country music. But and I know a lot of people in northern New York are big into country music. So what really made you thrive to ride that line? Because you be jamming on that guitar, girl, and we're gonna show a little bit of that videos later. So what got you into country music, and then how do you work in your blend between between rock and roll and country music?
Oh, thanks. Well, it's kind of an interesting story. So I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and I grew up in Westchester, New York. And I was always a rock and roller my whole life, but always loved all styles of music. My biggest influences growing up were every night I would be listening to The Temptations, then move over to Journey, and then I would move over to Glenn Campbell, and then I would move over to the Beach Boys, to Al Green, I listened to literally everything. And I think you can hear that when you listen to my music. And so I grew up playing in rock and roll bands. I was playing all over Manhattan, very much No Doubt like, a little Joan Jett like, clubs I wasn't even allowed into. When I'm 14 years old, I'm playing like the bitter end in Manhattan and all these places. And I love rock and roll. It's a big part of who I am. Even if you see my stage show, it's very much so a rock and roll, high energy show. But my dad always loved country music. Despite being a retired New York City Harlem street cop, he loved his country music.
Oh, he's a flatfoot.
And so he always had it on in the house when I was growing up. And I loved the stories of country. And I started to, of course, get my favorites, and I started really listening and writing it. And when I was about 18, the rock and roll thing it didn't feel right in my heart anymore. I'm a big believer of following your gut. And I had a band, but the band was me. I was writing all the music. I was doing all the bookings as a teenager, like all this stuff. And it was just the face of a band. And of course, they were all kids. I was a kid, but I never had that kid mentality. I was always very adult. Like, this is my dream. I'm going to work. Like, this is not a hobby, on the weekends that we do. Like, this is my career. And they just didn't feel the same way. So we're actually very close to a big record deal that the other teenagers had literally taken away from me with some poor decisions and just a lack of dedication. And I vowed in that moment to never let anybody take my dreams away from me again but me. So I was a solo artist. And thanks. I decided then to just go under my own name, to hire adults, professionals to back me and make my sound and vision come to life. And I started writing all this country music. My heart just told me, like, this is kind of the path. And that's honestly how the whole thing started. And it started in a very unusual way as well, where my dad, who co-manages my career with me, I said,
Awesome.
all right, let's do a demo. Like, I want to record all this country stuff. And he said, everybody does a demo. You're different. You're Italian. You're a rock and roller from New York. Let's do something weird, to go with it. So he's like, let's film something and try to shop it to TV or something. I was like,
Bada bing.
who is ever going to air this? Like, oh yeah, that's my dad right there in the cowboy hat in the middle.
I love it.
He traded his police hat for a cowboy hat when he joined the band. But he said, let's just try it. Worst comes to worst, you have some good live video and audio of your new stuff on a shoestring budget and a dream, I always say, because it was like the most rigged up filming like you have ever seen, like the most bootleg. Seriously, but I didn't have any money. I didn't have a name or anything. I funded everything on my own credit cards. That show went nationwide on television.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Wow, that's good.
And my whole career started, and sure enough, how you always follow your gut. 2 years later, which is when the show actually went to air, I thought my dreams were over because we hired such a cheap crew that so much went wrong with the show. So we couldn't air it. So it took 2 years of fighting to get this decent. And guess what happened 2 years later?
What?
The biggest country music festival in New York was born. And guess who was asked to play it shortly after my television show hit the air?
Congratulations.
So, thanks. Timing was everything. And that started, if the show had aired 2 years earlier, I don't think my career would have started because the timing just wasn't right. Country music wasn't a thing in New York. And that started my first tour, all these amazing things to come since then. So very humble beginning.
Yeah, it is humble because I'm pretty sure you said Manhattan, which is around the village, East Village, and all that stuff. And it's like you could have went to any direction, rock, rap, whatever. You could have been R&B, but you went to country. That's dynamic.
I think it's all inside of it.
The artist, see the skill facts you have that you can, if you really wanted to switch over, you can switch over. Like you can do any dynamic music. I'm pretty sure you could do R&B. You have the voice. You're doing country. You could do rock. You can, so it's good. It's diverse. That's
Thanks. If you listen, like even my new single, Better Than That, it's very country, but all the harmonies are straight Motown style harmonies and R&B style vocals. So like all of that is within it. And I think I had a lot of doors slammed in my face in the beginning, like kind of, what are you? Like, you don't look and sound like anything else, kind of. And I stuck to my guns and I never changed. And I think that's what made my career what it is, that I was always very genuine in the art that I put out.
Right. I think that's the advice you got to give young people, because me and Mike G started this about, 7 months ago, and everybody's asking us 1,000 different things about what we should do and we should be, what's our target audience. I said, man, I could care less. It ended up starting to be country artists. You know what? I'm okay with it. And then we got, signed up with a company called Recoil, and now we're doing the same thing. And it is all about relationships and following your dreams. And I love the fact how you put that out there. So if anybody's listening to this, Jessica, just put it out there straight up. Don't ever let somebody dictate to you what you need to do. You need to do follow your heart and do what you want to do. All right. And so, Jess, who are some of the artists? Okay. So you went down through all these R&B and stuff, but okay, the 90s was like where Billy Ray Cyrus really kind of changed country music to where it is today. And I honestly, I give a lot of credit to him because he really changed the dynamics. Even though it was Achy Breaky Heart, he really put it on its head. With now you look at some of the artists, and I'm sorry, the blend is unbelievable. So what do you think, or how do you feel the direction of country music is going today? Because I watched the CMA Awards. It's not the same as it was 30 years ago. I can tell you that. It's like golf before Tiger Woods was boring.
I think that there are always going to be naysayers, and there are always going to be people that like what you do. That's no different for a genre of music. My biggest country music inspirations growing up were Phil Vassar, who was very much like the Billy Joel of country music, and Shania Twain, who mixed all of these different sounds, into country. And like, why not? And as a New Yorker, I also listened to her a lot growing up, and it was like, well, if she could do this, if she can have these like rock and roll style sounds, and Mutt Lange was her producer, who did so many rock and roll. I mean, Def Leppard, like you hear that music
Oh,
in her.
absolutely.
So I think it's cool that the genre's evolving. And if it's not your cup of tea, then there's a million other artists out there that are doing what you like to hear, you know? And again, I think it should be up to the artist to put out the type of music that they want to make. And of course, every fan base will find that artist that is suitable for them. So there's no reason to hate on anybody else for doing what they do.
Well, there's always going to be haters out there, regardless if
That's
they
for
see
sure.
some success.
That is for sure.
I'm just gonna say it is. Hey, so let me ask you. I see you got your dad working with you, you know, and that's a great thing, because what I've talked to several different artists, and the one thing they've talked about was surrounding yourself with some positive people, because there's going to be down days. There's going to be days which you're not in there. So kind of tell us, he's a big influence on. Do you have other brothers and sisters that are jealous because you're spending time with dad? I'm just joking, but what do like? What is it that it takes you for your motor? Because you have a lot of energy. And so there's a lot of motivation there, and you need a lot of prep time. So what does he bring to the table that just keeps you grounded? You know what I mean? Because so many people get in this business and they don't stay grounded.
Well, interestingly enough, it's not just my dad. So the background singer is my mom, and my husband is the lead guitarist.
And, it's a family affair.
It is. We have just bought my dog Audrey on as stage manager, and eye candy for on stage. And my band has actually been with me 10 years. So
awesome.
From that very first bootleg TV special, they stayed with me. So we are all a huge family. I mean, these are people we spend every holiday together. I mean, we are not just a band, we are a family. We have been through some serious ups and downs together. And they always believed in me. I owe everything to them. They're the reason I was able to go out and tour and do all these things, because when I didn't have money and I didn't have a name, who was sitting next to me in that rickety old van going to Tennessee? They were. And if I didn't have those people, I would never be where I was today. It was never, oh, well, what am I getting paid? It was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I see what can happen here.
Well, that makes you down to earth, man. That's that makes you down. And that's what makes you genuine. There's so many people when they're asked to get on a podcast or do something, and I apologize for cutting you off, but I just wanted to get in there and say this to you. You are a genuine person, and maybe it's the Italian in you, because you guys are very family oriented. But no, it's that to give back to people that listen to you, and to give back to people that still care, and maybe they don't have money. And I'm just loving what you're saying, because that will just resonate with so many people out there that are just trying to find their way. And I appreciate you seriously on that.
Thank you. I think it's the most important thing, the people that you have around you. It really is. And they always support me, and they always also keep it real. We're so, that's my mom. We're all so close that it's like, it also makes us better as a band, I think, because if something's not good, we're all comfortable enough with each other to not have to tread. See, there's my mom, my husband's next to me. They've all been with me 10 years.
I love it.
My mom obviously been with me since birth, but the rest of the band 10 years.
Where's the dog at? I don't see the dog in the video.
She was actually right next to the monitor. She was right in front of me. So like literally right in front of me, watching me like a hawk to make sure I did good.
What kind of dog is she?
So she's really a special pup. We adopted her. She was our pandemic foster when I lost my world tour, that we thought was going to stay a few weeks and I was going to help and then be off on my tour, and when that never happened, obviously you fall in love. I'm a huge animal person. I've been vegetarian 13 years. I do a lot of support a lot of different animal causes and things like that. So I always loved animals, but we've traveled 6 months out of the year, the last 6 years. So I haven't been able to have a pet. And so I was like, now's the time. I can have a little puppy for a while, and then I'm forced to give her away because we have to leave for 5 months. So there's no way I could keep this dog.
No.
But then, like I said, when everything got canceled, it was like, well, now I'm home a year with this baby. I can't, give her away. And very sad story, but with a very happy ending. She was found in Texas, actually, in an abandoned house with both of her back feet cut off. So she's a double amputee, and she's had a wheelchair for the last 2 years. She's had 6 surgeries that I've literally been bedridden with her for almost 2 years. And she took her first real steps this week. So she has 2 prosthetic legs.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, see, I'm an Army vet, so we deal with a lot of dogs that, you know, do things for our country. And on the show later in this month, we actually have the one of the females that lost one of her legs in Iraq, and she's going to be there with her dogs. But she's the one that takes care of dogs that have lost their legs or
Really?
going through recovery and rehab. So yeah, she will be on at the end of the month. And
You have to connect us.
Oh, I definitely will, because she has got my heart, man. You know, anybody that, you know, takes care of animals and does the things, because I got 4 dogs, 4 birds, and, and a cat. So hey,
that's amazing. Animal people are the best people, and thank you for your service. I mean,
no worries.
In addition to a lot of animal causes, for the last like 7 years, I've been very closely involved with a ton of different military organizations and charities and things like that. So those are my 2 like main causes that I push out. So that's really, really cool.
Oh no, I appreciate it. So I see that you got the whole family there. So do you have any siblings?
I have a younger sister that actually sings too, but country music is not her thing, so she doesn't travel with us.
So let me ask you a question. So when you went to high school, then so when did you start playing the guitar? Because I deal with a lot of students all the time, because when I'm not doing my podcast, I teach sometimes. So when did you kind of start realizing that you like music, or was it your dad used to jam out and then you said, hey, I'm going to do it? Because my dad played the drums and I don't play at all, but my younger brother just kills the drums, and he followed in the footsteps of my dad. So kind of like, who was that influence that said, all right, here's your guitar, good luck?
I think both of my parents, and there was never a moment for me that they were like, do you want to do this? Like literally it was just, well, I always say like I didn't choose music, it chose me. There was never a moment where it's like, I would like to learn this. Like they have videos of me at 2 years old singing and banging on things like my toy pianos, like trying to make sounds. And they have videos of me as early as 5, like writing songs. So it was never a conscious decision, but I was very lucky that I had such an artistic family that supported me. You know, they always told me how hard and how bad this business is, but they said, we'll be here. And and it was really nice to grow up in that type of environment, because I know not everybody's family supports their dreams. A lot of people look at careers in the arts like it's a hobby. The amount of people over the years that have told me, yeah, so when are you going to get a real job? It's like, this is a real job, but like, just because I don't sit at a desk from 9 to 5 every day, and that's just people's perception of work. A lot of people don't see creative careers as a real career, but I really am an advocate for that mindset changing, because it's crazy. It's crazy. It's very uneducated.
Yeah, well, I learned really hard because my brother is up for 2 Grammys for he sings with the group Maverick, and
wow.
so I used to laugh because Bootsy would be laying on the sofa and I'd come back. I'm an R&B guy. Like, dude, what are you doing? I'm a struggling artist. Leave me alone. He'd be on my sister's sofa, and I'd be like, dude, you need to get a job, because I got a job. I've been up writing music all night, Vince. And so I have eaten crow because his song hit the Billboard chart. So he has a Billboard mic now, and one song went to number 3, and his album was at number 8. Oh yeah. So I had to eat crow now, so that outfit is now official.
Again, it's just a different mentality. You're an Army guy, so your mentality is early in the morning. You're up and you're doing something very strategic and planned. Where in artistic careers, it's like, it's funny. My husband's parents, they're so supportive. I love them to death. They always say, like, you guys sleep so late. Like, don't you have stuff to do in the morning? I'm like, I was up till 3 a.m. out singing. Like, I'm going to sleep till 11. I'm not being lazy. Those are my work hours. It's just different, but it's hard for people to just, because it's just so different from their lifestyle. It's just hard to imagine that. But for us, it's like, 9 to 5, you go to the same place every day and sit at the same desk. Like,
No,
what?
that's
When
my
are you going to get a
brother.
fun job?
That's my brother. I'll call it. He's in California. I'll call him. I say, dude, it's like 9 o'clock. Vince, I'm asleep. I'm like, what are you talking about? So that's me and Mike G go through this all the time because I'm at the gym at 3 a.m, texting and writing him, and he's always like, dude, could you please leave me alone because I'm still in the bed.
Man, I
It's
gotta
so
sleep
true.
until 6. Until 6.
Oh God. Well, my whole schedule has changed recently because I started actually, very interestingly enough, working with the government, doing a music program. So
Awesome. Are you going to USO?
it's similar, but not exactly with the military. But we
Okay.
are working. I have done a lot of stuff on bases. Like we spent the 4th of July last time at Wiesbaden in Germany,
What?
which
You
was
real? Oh,
amazing.
no, girl.
We loved it.
Deutschland.
We're planning to go back this year if travel restrictions and everything allow. But
Or Ukraine settles down because my grandson actually lives in Switzerland, and my
yes.
daughter, oldest daughter, lives in Passau, Germany. She's moving there now with my grandson, so I'm trying to get over there now. But I'm just like, man, can the world just settle down for a little bit?
Yeah. On
Give me a
top of all the
moment.
COVID stuff,
You
there's
know?
now this stuff. So it's like, of course, we've waited 2 years. 2 years ago, I lost my 100 city, 14 country world tour.
Wow.
So we've been waiting every year to do it. This year, it's like, all right. And then it's like, this war is okay, what else can happen now? Like,
Damn it, I want to go to Europe.
so we'll see. I believe whatever will be. But when, we were in Lithuania on tour a few years ago, the embassy was there. And I was like, this is so cool. I want to meet the Americans. So we go over to their booth and they were like, you would be really perfect for this program that the State Department does called American Voices, where
Absolutely. I know it.
You do?
Yeah, because
So
I was a general in the Army. Yeah, so we partner. They partner with different artists for different things. We have comedians come over, and
Yes.
it's just about helping the morale of the people. Give everybody a little flavor of apple pie from home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I've been working with them since 2020 and all virtually so far, unfortunately, but it's also been wonderful. And they actually just hired me to teach my own music business course in succeeding in the music business as an
Wow.
independent artist for students all over the globe. So I've been teaching in Indonesia and they are 12 hours ahead. So my day's been starting at 6 a.m. So now I got those regular people hours for everyone.
Uh-oh. Hey, don't do that. It might bleed off on Mike G, man. Don't do that to him like that.
I did you dirty. I know. I'm sorry.
You did, man. All good. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, Justice, you're killing me, man. It's too funny. Hey, well, I know we were talking earlier, trying to beg you to sing a song for us, if you would, but who was just one song, we want to ask no more of you, if you could do it, and we can wait, because we're all good. Ain't that right, Mike?
Yeah, he just woke up. He's fine over there.
At 6. Not
All right,
at
let's
3.
Let's see. I'm going to unplug my headphones so you can hear the guitar. So let's hope the audio doesn't cut out. Let's see. Okay. You guys hear me?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's see. I just got to tune up. I was not prepared. Let's see.
Oh, that's okay.
I do have all my equipment here, though, which is good. Just got to tune up. It's been so cold here in New York that my instruments have not been happy.
They've been fluctuating.
The heat goes on, and then they're warm again, and then. Okay, let's see.
Hey, what is that thing?
It's a capo. So it basically allows me to play different chords,
Okay.
but open. So play them with different voicings, basically. But this is not my usual one, so I want to make sure that it keeps me in tune. Okay. All right. I think I'm ready.
It's not perfect, but we'll do on
Hey,
short.
we're fine. Hey, we're good with it.
All
Hey,
right.
it's all real.
This is very real. So this is my new single I just put out. It's called Better Than That. It's the one I was talking about that
Yo, exclusive.
yay. So it's like I was saying, kind of very Motown style harmonies with very country instrumentation. It's kind of all over the place, but here we go. Not warmed up. Here you are, 2 a.m., knock, knock on my door again. You want to talk about her, telling me she's just mad that it ain't that bad. Things could be worse. You say you're happy, she's the one for you. This is me you're talking to. I know we're better than that. Oh yeah. She's not the one for you, the one that's gonna love you back. Boy, can you tell me just how many times we're gonna do this till you realize I know we're better,
Love it.
better than that. Oh, yeah. I'm the only one that's been right here when you need a friend. You want to talk about love? Oh, she only brings you down. That's why you come around. But look at us. I know you're better than that. Oh, yeah. She's not the one for you, the one that's gonna love you back. Ooh, I know you better than
Girl, that was on point.
Nice job. Nice job. Nice job. Nice. You got the rust out of the guitar. It's like that fire came out. That was good though. Very good. Good show. Thank you. We appreciate that.
My pleasure.
We put you on the spot. We're like, sing us a song. Please sing us a song.
We always got to beg, man. We're always begging. You know, as they say in Motown, as they always say, you know, you got to keep begging, man. It's old Motown, old tunes from back in the 70s. Hey, Jessica, I really appreciate you coming on today. And me and Mike wanted to kind of end the show because we know you're busy, and I saw your schedule, and you know you are packed full of things going on. And you know what? And I appreciate you taking the moment and the time. So if you could give any advice to any young person before we hang up here and show your video at the close out the show, what advice would you leave your imprint in the sand for one young person if you had to give anybody advice? Because I always tell people sometimes only one person will listen to you, but maybe that one person needs the one that needs to hear it.
My advice would be to always be yourself. I mean, there's 1,000,001 people out there in the world, but there's only one you, and your one you comes with so many different special talents and skills and quirks. Even those little things are all things that are going to make people connect with you. But like I said, when I first started in this business, I had so many no's. I still have so many no's, you know, because people just have to get who you are. But when they get who you are, that's going to be the right person. And things that I thought were my greatest hurdles wound up to be my greatest assets, because they're what made me me. And I think that's so important to hold on to. I mean, not so much of my career is because I stayed true to the style of music that I make. For example, if I had listened to that guy in Nashville years ago that said I needed to sound just like everything else on country radio, I would have lost that rock and roll side of me, which is what opened the doors for Europe. So there's so many things that, even things that seem so terrible, like me losing that record deal when I was a kid. I wasn't ready for that. I look back now and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, thank God I didn't do that then, because I had so much more to learn and to grow. And maybe I wouldn't have stayed me, because you have all these different voices talking at you, telling you what to do. And everything comes at just the right time, and just the right people come at the right time that are made for you. And like I said, your skills, your genuine being will determine your right path. Don't ever change it to fit somebody else's path. It's not meant to be. What's meant to be will be, always.
I love it. Well, I guess now I kind of know if I ever do my pen pal movie for the general that met the pen pals, I know who to call to get a song for the movie. Hey, Mike?
Ooh. Ideas,
Love that.
ideas, ideas.
Yeah, hey, relationship. Steve Jobs said relationships are built by associative thinking.
Yeah. You were gonna ask Mike, but he's sleeping, so
Until six. Give me until 6.
he wasn't
Not
available. You
3.
got that voicemail.
Oh my God. You guys are so great. Hey, so with that being said, Jessica, we always say, hey, Mike, how we do it? Keep it rolling. And let's see your video, man. Bring it in, man.
Here you are, 2 a.m., knock, knock on my door again. You want to talk about her, telling me she's just mad that it ain't that bad. Things could be worse. You say you're happy, she's the one for you. This is me you're talking to. I know you better than